What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Black Shirt Bourbon Society. Today we're headed to Manassas, Virginia to KO Distillery. Let's get drinking. So on a recent trip to DC, we hit up a couple of different distilleries. One was actually closed because someone can't use Google. That me. I'll take the blame for that one for sure. So we headed back to Manassas to KO, which I'm really glad that we did because it was phenomenal. Amy and Greg did a great job with our tasting, giving us the history of the distillery, the product descriptions. And it was a phenomenal experience. And then we left there and went to the Bones for barbecue, which just so happened was Amy's husband was working. And so for you guys don't know, we make stickers and we hand them out to the distilleries when we go. So we were talking to Amy's husband, which we didn't grab his name, but Amy's husband. And we had given them a sticker at the distillery. So when we said that we had just come back from KO, he texted Amy and told her that we were there, and she told him to bring us a sticker from the Bones. So it's kind of a cool thing that we've been doing about passing things back and forth.
And the Bones barbecue.
Oh, the Bones barbecue is
outstanding.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, sausage and ribs and pulled pork and chicken and macaroni and cheese and coleslaw. Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go back to Manassas just for more barbecue.
Yeah.
But we also have to hit KO back up too
We
because
do.
it was so good. So we ended up picking up 3 different products from them, and one of them was kind of a special release, something that they don't have all the time or often. So I'm glad that we got to pick that up while we were there. And let's give us the tour.
Yes, so we're going to start off with their Bottled and Bond series. So they have a Bottled and Bond bourbon and rye. So we're going to start off with the Bottled and Bond bourbon. It's handcrafted with Virginia-grown grains, 70% corn, 20% wheat, 10% on that malted barley. It's Bottled and Bond. We talked about that back in March, so that's 100 proof. If we look at it, it is every bit of that very dark amber.
Dark amber for sure.
On the nose, there's just the sweetness of vanilla. And some caramel as well.
Oh, yeah. And I'm getting some toffee. Again, that burnt sugar aspect of things.
And I get a little bit of fruitiness, but I can't place what that fruit is at this point.
Maybe some almond?
Maybe a little bit. So that caramel is right there on the front end. The baking spices.
Oh, yeah.
There's that sweetness. And on the palate, that dried fruit is like apricot.
Yeah. Yeah, I taste that. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of a dark chocolate. Has a little bit of a bitter note, but not...
Maybe a little bit. So I don't really get that cocoa flavor on my palate, but you know,
definitely apricot.
Yeah.
Vanilla, caramel, spices. It's smooth.
It's really good.
Again, for another 100 proof, it's a good smooth product. KO did a good job.
Yeah, fantastic job.
So we actually experienced KO 2 years ago in Winchester, Virginia, at a very small festival, and we actually ended up drinking more of their gin than anything. We got tickets, and the bartender, we'll call him the tasting guy, was almost making gin and tonics with a little splash of lemon juice. And we ended up back there more than anywhere else. But we did end up at Evan Williams a few times
We did.
and got hats, which was pretty cool. You know, I always love a good swag, but yeah, KO was just such a great product. I'm glad that we got to go there and try their bourbons.
And I'm glad that things worked out for us to be able to end up at KO
Yeah.
a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we'll be right back with number 2. Number 2 on our list from KO is the bottled in bond rye, which, I mean, by now you guys should already know that I'm super excited about. And
So I thought it was really cool that we were able to, when we went to KO, have both a bottled in bond bourbon and a bottled in bond rye. So it almost automatically we had to walk out with both.
oh yeah, so a little bit of a backstory thing for what us when we go to these distilleries, we try a whole series of products, and we most of the time say, okay, we're only going to leave with 1 or 2. KO was almost an immediately, yep, these 3 have to come home. There's no way around not leaving with these 3.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking about the third one because we actually were in between on the third because we almost had a 4th bottle as we talked through that.
Yeah, it could end up really being a problem. So what you see behind us here is about 50 bottles. Off camera over here on the other side is about another 30. And I get a video, or no, actually I got a FaceTime a couple weeks ago from someone. We're not going to point fingers, but someone who redecorates his office with 120 bottles.
124 bottles.
Oh, okay, 124. Yeah.
Yes.
So, needless to say, we have enough product to shoot for
For a while.
For a while. But at the same time, we plan on going every other weekend to procure more because we do this for you.
For you.
For you. So, let's get into this rye and talk about it.
Yeah. So again, 100 proof on the rye, nice and dark
Oh,
on
yeah.
the color there. It definitely a dark amber. It's 100% of their Virginia grown rye, which we talked about a little bit. So it is one variety of rye.
Yes.
Unlike when we did the tasting from, I think it was Germany.
Mm-hmm.
They had 6 different types of rye, but this is 100% Virginia grown rye, 100 proof. And on the nose, it is rye and cinnamon.
So rye. A little peppercorn.
There is.
But also some vanilla. I mean, there's a sweetness, a maple sweetness to it.
There is. But the rye just stands out so forward. Is great.
Yeah. Oh.
Over to you.
Oh. The spice is there. The sweetness is there. It's warm. It's I don't know. This might be top 2 ryes for me of all time, which
that's saying a lot.
That says a lot. I mean, I don't think it can dethrone Hannahsville, which is by far my favorite, but this is so good.
So it really gives you that, we'll say Virginia hug.
A Virginia hug.
A Virginia hug.
Yeah.
The rye, that peppercorn is so forward there. Cinnamon, a little bit of maple, but it is very smooth.
So smooth. And again, and I know that I keep beating this drum, but these bottled in bonds that are 100 proof and are smooth as they are almost come across as an 80. It's just such a good product.
It lingers, and I would say there's a little bit of menthol finish to it.
Yeah,
there is.
There is. Yeah. Yeah. A minty-ish, which we had this conversation a while back. Before we started this channel, I did a lot of reviews watching reviews on other people's channels and came across a Sagmore single barrel, and the guys talked about it had a mint taste, and I had never ever tasted mint in my rye before, but this has
It does.
that minty menthol fresh flavor at the finish, and it's really really good.
It is another very good product from KO.
KO is 2 for 2. So let's see how they do on number 3. We'll be right back. So number 3 is a high rye bourbon. And before we really get into this, let's talk about how our process works. So we went to KO, we sat down, and they had different options for tasting boards, we'll call them. So we got 2 different ones so we could share and experience actually 8 different bottles at the same time. And as we're drinking our 8 different bottles or samples, Greg comes over and tells us, "Hey, we have this high rye bourbon. It's not on a tasting board. We only have a few bottles left. It's very exclusive. It's don't have a whole lot of it. Would you like to try it?" And duh, why would we not want to try it? So it's a 9-year high rye product, which again, 9 years is great. So, but before we go any farther, I just want to say we just discovered this. We didn't even pay attention to this. So on the bottle itself, we have 9 years select, and it tells the barrel number, but also the bottle number. We got bottle 2, which really doesn't mean a whole lot, but at the same time, like, my thought is, as a distillery, I would have bottle 1 for the owner, bottle 2 for your master distiller, bottle 3, 4, 5, whatever for your top staff, and then you start selling them there. But we got bottle number 2, which means this was one of the first bottles that came off of the production line, and I think that's a pretty cool thing for us to have.
Yeah, and when there were 4 total bottles that we were looking at, and we decided to go with this high rye bourbon, and we didn't realize at the time how many bottles they had left and how exclusive this was. If I recall correctly, they only had like 4 bottles of this left, and so we were able to get one of these. And when we checked out and got this, we realized we selected well.
Yes, and also another really deciding factor is because they hadn't put this out for 3 years. They did it as a 6-year. They brought it back out as a 9, but they didn't raise the price. So we got a 9-year bottle on a 6-year price, which was again a no-brainer on buying this 3rd bottle, and pleasantly surprised on how it is.
So the bottle and bonds, of course, were 100% 100 proof. This is 90 proof, but it is still an amber on the color there. Aged 9 years.
9 years.
75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. So this has a unique nose to me. It is cocoa.
Yes.
Very forward.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some caramelized sugars as well.
But then you also get that corn. So I'm gonna say like a kettle corn flavor.
I no disagreement there.
Yeah.
And so the rye is very forward,
in
this, which it's very good. The sweetness of that caramel sugar, it's a caramelized sugar, so maybe like that creme brulee type flavor.
Yeah, the vanilla and the sugar mix well as a creme brulee.
We did.
Yeah.
Little bit maybe of a fruitiness, that maybe like a dried cherry.
Yeah, I get the cherry. But it really plays well with that spice of the rye.
It does. That rye is so forward. That rye lingers on the back as well. which I'm so glad we picked this one up.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a really really good product. I mean, 3 for 3. KO did not disappoint, and we need to go back.
Yeah,
I,
and I would say that Greg and Amy did such a great job, and it was they have just a friendly staff there. Great distillery, great place to be able to do a tasting.
yes, very 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 sure for sure. Um, I don't know what's our question of the week. Do we have a question?
So, so I guess maybe the question would be, you know, as you're looking at your local distilleries, what is your favorite local distillery that you would go to?
Yeah, I think that's great. Definitely make sure that you comment that below because we will reach out. Hopefully, we can get bottles from your distillery and bring them in and do some reviews so that if you guys are far away from us, and we can get some notification for some other distilleries in areas other than ours, and I think that'd be awesome.
But I also think maybe we should go back to KO and go on site and be able to talk with them about their process and some of their other products.
Do you think that they would make us a custom tasting board?
I think that would be great.
I think that would be awesome. All right, guys, if you enjoyed today's show, comment, like, don't forget to subscribe, or scribe, whatever. Comment below. It's fine. Until next time, this is the Black Shirt Bourbon Society. Happy drinking.